What's up, everyone? Welcome to a channel update. I haven't done one of these in a while, but I felt like I needed to get a lot of things kind of out there and start discussing what the channel's state is. I haven't really done that in a while. I don't think since I started a lot of the series that I have going on now. In the background, you will see NHL 16 Capitals BAGM gameplay footage against the Stars. And the reason that I'm putting GM footage in this episode is because I'm done with GM mode. I'm done with NHL 16. The game is not fun. The game is not realistic. There's no, as you'll see later on, the goalies are terrible. Your goalie's always terrible. The other goalie's always fantastic. Antti Niemi was in the net for the other team, and we scored 1 goal on 17 shots. And Braden Holtby, the probably third or fourth best goalie in the entire league, 92 overall, was on my team, the Capitals, and he gave up 6 goals on, I think, 23 shots. I don't know if it was 6, but it was a high amount on a unacceptable. This is not a performance Braden Holtby has ever really had in his career, to my memory anyway, and that's not a very one-off occurrence. It's something that happens all the time. I play on all-star difficulty, and I actually turned it down to pro just to experiment for this game to see if it would be any different on pro, my experience, and it was actually worse. So I'm done with the series. This is officially the last video for the NHL BAGM. I'm not going to spend too much time harping on that, though. So moving on to the other series, Fallout 4 has not been posted in quite a while. It will be posted within the next couple days. I got sick last week, and not only was I unable to do the voice for the thing, but I also wasn't really able to get any time to actually sit down and do it without having to, blow my nose or cough for any extended amount of time. There still is a couple coughs in that video because I tried to record it while I was still sick. So what happened was, with that series, I took a break from doing it for a couple days because I was having various recording issues, and I played through this specific part of the game 4 times, and I did it 4 different ways. I never did it the same way, and I took a break from doing the series just to kind of focus on a couple sports series for a while and figure out where I was going to work my Fallout 4 playthrough in. And I ultimately I got sick right after I decided to try and do it again. The next day I was like, alright, tomorrow I'm going to record Fallout 4. And I woke up and I had a sore throat and could barely talk. I couldn't do the voice. Also, I didn't really have time to record because I have to record when everyone's asleep or not around because the noise carries through this house. And there's a dog and a baby in here living in my current living situation. So doing having extended amounts of time to record is not really possible, and doing it with a kind of video like Fallout is, again, even more difficult because you can't stop and start like you can with doing a post-com. So yeah, I'm gonna be resuming the Fallout 4 in a couple days, so wait up on that. It might even be today. I haven't decided what my other video is going to be for today because I have 2 ready. When you see the next episode of 2K, you'll notice I say I have a channel update coming soon. I decided to do the channel update after I thought about it. It made more sense to kind of do it now because I was having a new kind of idea. The series I'm also going to continue is the NBA My League. I'm having so much fun with 2K this year. Last year, I kind of bummed me out. It wasn't very well made. It was too easy to score. It was too easy to play defense. And you'd get these leads that the other team just could not catch up with. This year, I've been winning a lot of episodes, gameplays, but it's been a lot more competitive, and it's a lot more interesting to play this year. You'll miss a lot of shots that you wouldn't have missed last year. It's a lot harder. I played on Hall of Fame last year, too, I believe, anyway. And I'm playing on Hall of Fame again this year, obviously. So I'm going to continue that, and I'm continuing it to the point that when MLB comes out, I'm going to continue doing my league, but I don't know if it'll be with the Knicks by that point. That series might be over, and I might start another series, and I'll discuss what teams I want to do with that when that does come around. But usually when MLB comes out every year, because that's been my main game in the last couple years, I'll stop doing other series for quite a while, and I'll do just MLB videos for about a month, and then I'll go back to doing whatever I was doing before. It was usually actually GM mode in NHL that would go with my MLB. It would be one day I do that. One day I do my MLB video, and then I do an NHL video the day after. Like, that's usually what I was doing, but there's no way that would feasibly work this year. I can't do live comms for very extended periods of time like I would have to do with the GM. I'd have to sit down and record several episodes at once to be ahead enough. So 2K will be a mainstay on my channel now that I have a console that I can play it on. Last year wasn't really possible with all the things that were going on. So my main thing I wanted to make this video to discuss, though, is I'm recording this on a Sunday, and I was watching football today, and I thought to myself, well, I'm about doing NHL, I can't just do NBA, I'd bore myself to death. I can never do just one series at a time. I've tried it several times, and it just does not work for me. I get really unmotivated and lazy. So I decided that I'm going to do a Madden franchise. And I had fun with the first Madden franchise, and I still have the file, although I lost all the gameplays from the first season because my hard drive crashed. And I have like the worst luck with hard drives. If you have been with the channel for a while, you would know this. But my hard drive crashed, and I said, I can't do Madden anymore, so I kind of just stopped doing it without announcing it. But I'm going to start a new Madden series, and I've been thinking of teams that I want to use, but there's a catch with this Madden franchise, which is kind of the reason that I ultimately decided not to go back to the Jets one, besides not having the files, was I wanted to do a different Madden franchise than other people are doing. When you see other Madden franchises on YouTube, and I'm not going to say this is everyone does this, but every Madden franchise I've ever really seen has done it every game, played straight, like the whole season. And my franchise have always kind of taken the approach of, you know, with Madden has been, let the players do what they're going to do without trying to do it like all yourself. Like, I never really audible. I never do like any sort of I always play with a defensive lineman. I try and let my franchise be about the players as much as possible. I never did like aggressive catching or anything. I usually just kind of let the I let offense flow, and I let the defensive players do whatever. I don't ever really manually play with anyone besides the defensive lineman, because I'm bringing that to a new extent. I'm not going to be playing every game. I don't know what I'm going to be exactly doing yet. I'm thinking every 2 or 3 games I'll pick a game, or like divisional games I'll play, and later on in the season, if there's some sort of playoff heat, then I will be doing that, obviously. But I want to do it differently than everyone else's, because I really don't think I'll be interested in doing game after game after game, because that's no way to really build a team over time. You can't really sustain a series doing every single game, grinding through. And I honestly think that's the reason that I like ditch a lot of Madden. I've done Madden 3 years in a row now and never actually finished posting an entire season of a franchise, let alone an entire series of a franchise. So I think this new format will kind of reinvigorate Madden for me. Plus, I haven't really played it since the very first update. Like, all those games that you saw in the Jets franchise were from the first 6 days of the game was released. I just kind of was like, you know, I'm just going to play this game. I'm going to keep playing it because there's nothing really else. I'm just kind of trying to kill time on my trial and then kill time until NHL comes out. I'll just record an entire season, then I won't have to worry about playing the game if I don't get the time to. So I played through the entire season in like the first week of the game. The game was really broken. I went like 3-14, or 2-14, excuse me. But anyway, circling back to the whole series as a whole, I'm going to leave 3 comments down in the comments section, and thumb up whatever team you want, and I'm going to offer this as a bonus. If you think of another team that I don't include down in the comments section, you can make your case for them. I'm really kind of just set on doing one of these 3 teams that I have picked out, and I've based this on a combination of what I'd be interested in doing, as well as the lack of other series existing on YouTube for these teams. So I'm going to make my case for each team, and if you want to see that team, thumb up the comment below. Don't reply or anything, just thumb it up. That's all I'm going to be looking at, and I'm not going to use that as the end-all be-all. I'm just going to use it to see what you guys kind of think of each team. So my first team I was thinking of was the Raiders. Now, in past Maddens, the Raiders would be the kind of go-to team for a lot of people to use. Would be the Raiders. They'd be like, oh, the Raiders, they suck. But not a lot of series have been done on the Raiders this year. Last year, Sneaky Pete did a really long series on the Raiders, and I would not probably do something that long, but I would honestly I'd be interested in using the Raiders. They have a couple pieces, 3 or 4 really big building blocks in place already. They have Derek Carr, Amari Cooper, I loved Amari Cooper in college, even though I usually tend to stray away from Alabama players as a whole because I think the program really is just kind of like the players it produces anyway. But I love Amari Cooper. I was really pulling for the Jets to draft him in this past draft, and I'm not complaining about Leonard Williams, but I'd still rather have Amari Cooper. Derek Carr, who's one of my favorite quarterbacks in the league. I just think he's very smart with the ball. He's not like an elite quarterback ever in his career. He's one of the best game managing quarterbacks I've ever even seen. He doesn't turn the ball over. He never costs his team. He makes very smart decisions. He has a high football IQ, and he's a very good player. I really would be interested to see if he actually makes the jump or if he stays the quarterback he kind of is now. Very, very solid quarterback who's never going to really cost you wins. And Khalil Mack, obviously, on defense. I'd still need to build up a lot of the defense. The offense, I think, is pretty good. Maybe a couple offensive linemen. I think Michael Crabtree and Amari Cooper are good, and Latavius Murray. I think that's your offense. Those are solid pieces. But I'd love to build the defense to see what you can get surrounding Khalil Mack, who's honestly one of the best and going to be one of the best defensive players in the league for years to come. So my other teams I was thinking of were the Redskins with Kirk Cousins. Then it opens up so many options to Kirk Cousins is a very good quarterback, by the way. I'll just say that. Kirk Cousins opens up options for RG3. You can trade him. You can cut him. You can do whatever. And the defense is really what I'd be focused on in that again. And that's what the theme is with all three of these teams. Is I get to build the defense the way I wanted to build the defense, not the way I was told this is how the defense functions. Like with the Jets, I was kind of stuck with a 3-4. If I wanted to do a 4-3, I wanted to install a 4-3, I could absolutely do that with any of these teams because I'd be building a defense from the ground up pretty much. The Redskins, that's pretty much my basis behind that. Offense is set, the defense just needs a little bit of work. And the NFC East is a very winnable division year in, year out. It's very competitive, but not ever with very many good teams. They're all kind of middle-of-the-pack teams that just overachieve. And my final team, this is the one I was really leaning towards, other than the Raiders, was the Bears. They have two very good young wide receivers in Alshon Jeffrey and Kevin White, who is eventually going to play, I hope. And Parnell McPhee is one of the best defenders in the league on defense. I believe I don't know what scheme they run, but he's an outside linebacker. And they have one of the best impact young cornerbacks in the game, too, in Kyle Fuller. I get to build the defense around those two, respectively leading my pass rush and my secondary. I get to build a lot of the offense. The only thing that I was kind of wary on with the Bears that kind of made me not say, yeah, I'm doing the Bears, was the fact that I'd have to draft a new quarterback soon, and I never like the quarterbacks that the game makes. I always think they're either really good or really bad. I don't think that you can get very many of them outside of the top 5 pick or late in the draft. I always think that it's kind of a crapshoot with the draft anyway. I never really like drafted prospects that, like quarterbacks are always severely overrated. And I hate fake quarterbacks because they're the guys that you have to really be familiar with. Like, I can be unfamiliar with a, defensive lineman all I want. Like, just whatever. They're a defensive lineman. The quarterback is the leader of the team. It would not be interesting for me to have a fictitious player. Like, this quarterback's not a real player. He's not really that good. All these kind of things. So that was really the one thing that kind of made me not say, oh yeah, I'm going to do the Bears. So those were my 3 picks. I'm going to leave those down in the comments, as well as I'm considering a couple others that I'm not going to bring up because they're not really worth making a case for because they're really outside shots. If you have any other ideas, put them down in the comment section. Other than that, this channel update is done. I'd like to thank you guys for watching. I'm Connor, obviously, and I will see you guys later.